So, Spider-Man: Far From Home came out, well, obviously a few weeks ago, and we finished watching Hawkeye. We followed, we've been following the MCU for quite a long time. But I had a thought recently regarding spoilers and the nature of spoilers and how difficult it can be to avoid spoilers for a property that you haven't seen yet, or for a movie you haven't seen yet, or for a show you haven't seen yet, or a book you haven't read yet. And I've noticed myself actively avoiding spoilers. What I do? Spoilers of any kind. And that includes things like I won't look up things about a game, for example, until I've finished it, until I've played it. If you've been following the stream, you know that we just finished Metroid Dread last week, and I just realized there's no music playing. We just finished Metroid Dread last week, and that was so much fun. That game was awesome. I really enjoyed that game, and I'm probably going to go back and play it some more. But I found myself not looking up anything about the game until I finished it. And I wonder if that's starting to, affect my enjoyment of other things, because I'm so scared of spoiling myself for it. Do you have a fear of spoilers? How do you go about avoiding spoilers? How do you go about dealing with spoilers? I appreciate that in a lot of cases now, if someone's going to spoil something that's fresh and new, they're going to let you know beforehand. But it was weird, it got to a point where we were seriously considering driving across to the closest cinema and spending 3 days away from home to see Spider-Man: Far From Home. And don't get me wrong, I'm sure it'd be a fantastic trip, and we'd have a lot of fun. But it feels as if that patience that we used to have for these sorts of things is just gone. And something really weird happened this year. We got snow for the first time that has stayed for as long as it has, for the first time in 40 years in our town. And that would have made the drive even more dangerous. That being said, I've driven in snow pretty much my entire life. And then, I wouldn't have a problem with it. I'd figure it out and I'd drive carefully and we would just take our sweet time the whole time. But it was just interesting to think that we were really considering doing this. And we would have done it too. We didn't. We decided not to go. We decided that we would much more enjoy ourselves if we were just kind of hanging out at home and enjoying the holidays and enjoying Christmas. But I'm wondering if it had to do with the fact that we were so afraid of being spoiled by the people around us. And that got me thinking that all of this is obviously planned. You go to a movie hoping to not be spoiled, or you read a book hopefully not to be spoiled because of how much you hope to be enjoying the show. Fungal Wizard, welcome to the show. Always a pleasure to see you in chat. We're just having a conversation right now about the nature of spoilers and how easy it is to spoil something for somebody, and whether or not that takes enjoyment away from the thing for you. We were just saying how during the Metroid Dread playthrough, I actively avoided any kind of content about Metroid Dread because I didn't want to be spoiled for the game. And I think that hype and that excitement came through on the playthrough. But we can talk more about this as the stream goes on. I just wanted to bring up the idea of spoilers because it's something that has been on my mind quite a bit lately. And maybe it's been on yours too, as more and more media comes out and you feel yourself feeling more and more behind on what's going on in the world of pop culture. Now, there's obviously a way to get around that, and that is just to simply not acknowledge what's going on in the media. And for some people, that's a lot more healthy, to not acknowledge that you're not acknowledge the fear of being spoiled by something. Anyway, that's sort of my conversation on that. Thanks for listening. Now, I've got for you planned a really cool, we're going to basically take up from where we left off in The Legend of Zelda, the Helix Blade. It is a mod a mod hack, I believe, for The Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask, which for some is their most favorite Zelda game. For others, it is not. But let's go ahead and hop in to some Legend of Zelda, the Helix Blade. Oh wait, I gotta make sure my controller's hooked up. One moment. Enjoy this music for a little bit longer. Oh, it is connected. No, it's not. And I'm not looking at chat right now. So if you're talking and chatting away, I'm not able to see it. Excellent, connected. We're gonna reboot this guy. Yep, I know. Go away. And we're gonna reboot this guy as well. Just ignore that Spotify. Although I guess you can kind of see what I'm listening to, which is always fun. Let's let that load, do its thing. You can probably close away from that. Oh boy, okay, here we go. Fungal Wizard, I just saw your long chat here, so I'm just going to go ahead and read through that out loud. There's an aspect of spoilers that I enjoy, and it's an actual thing too. I can't remember what it's actually called, but if there's a theory, if you will, where when you know the outcome, it gives you a different perspective. Basically, you know that's going to happen, but what you don't know is how it's going to happen. So the anticipation is adding to the enjoyment. No, I see that, man, and I get that, and I feel that. Sometimes that feeling of anticipation or that knowledge of what's going to happen doesn't necessarily take away from the fact that you don't know how it's going to happen. For example, I'm going to spoil WandaVision if you haven't seen it. Like, when it was happening, nobody knew. We'll get into this in just a second. I'll just finish my thought. Nobody knew what was going to happen, and nobody knew how it was going to happen. And there were a lot of theories all about that series. Like, everybody thought Mephisto was going to make an appearance. He didn't make an appearance. It ended up being all of a specific character instead. And that was really interesting. Or, I guess a better example would have been when playing Metroid, when Kraid showed up. They kind of spoiled Kraid in the trailers. They spoiled that he was in the game. But they didn't spoil why he was in the game, or how he was in the game, or anything else regarding that situation. They didn't really spoil any other boss fights in the trailer, and Kraid was the only real one that they spoiled. But that didn't take away any enjoyment, because we didn't know where he was going to show up, or when he was going to show up. If anything, it added to the excitement, like you said, about how, yeah, we know that Kraid is going to show up, but we didn't know when. And so when he finally showed up, it was super exciting because we knew it was coming. We just didn't know when it was going to come. So I think you're right about that. I think you're onto something there, Fungal Wizard. What do you say we get into this Zelda the Helix Blade?